Just one more day to go till everyone's biggest favorite event of the month of August, which of course is Jackson's Hole, where we do have everyone's favorite Fed chair, Jay Powell, of course, talking about what he's going to do, And the big sort of anticipation here, of course, is going to be the lowering of interest rates. And I expect that things are kind of setting up for a nice, likely some nice upside coming into tomorrow's event. Now, I do want to reiterate my thoughts on this channel for the past week that if Bitcoin was going to have a downside attempt, it likely would have been at the beginning of this week. Instead, we did not get that at all, which is a very, very telling sign to me that, hey, the time is ticking and things are looking, better and better, especially with Bitcoin not just holding its way sideways, but back above $60,000, which is rather powerful. Anyways, other than that, we'll start off with probably the biggest thing of the day, which is a weekly signal over here, a weekly jewel signal, I should say, which has only happened 11 times in Bitcoin's history. And out of those 11 times, 9 of them have just led towards, significant upside, I guess you could say. And 2 of those times did obviously have a nice big pullback before any sort of more significant follow through to the upside. However, there are 3 instances that did happen specifically pretty much right after, or kind of right after, within the vicinity of the halving, and they all have a very, 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 very obvious signature. So let me just talk about the signal here first. It is simply this: anytime that the jewel has come down below the 50 read, so just the neutral zone essentially, and then crossed back above the 50 read whilst maintaining that nice light blue cyan color with the positive curvature, it has, I'll just present you the results. We could just pull back on this chart and I can show you all of those prior times. And as you can see, all of these, except for 2 of them, were just straight fucking up, basically. Yes, there was some sideways involved, obviously, but the 2 times that it did fail was one right before the last major black swan, or I guess one of the last major black swans. This one, the Rona dump, back in January of 2020. It still did have a little bit of upside first, but that one obviously did fail. You might say that it was black swan, and so, maybe not the biggest deal of all time. And then the time before that was actually in the bull trap, the first bull trap of the 2014-2015 cycle right here, where it pretty much did time basically the exact top before Bitcoin did come down pretty much for the rest of the year. So I did want to highlight with these red vertical bars here, of which you see 3 of them, and they are 4 years apart, that these are around, or the first signal that we had of this sort that happened after the halving. And these ones very, very specifically come in, in a very similar vein as the one that we're seeing right now, with a generally corrective sideways price action movement after, after obviously the lows the cycle put in, boom, big move to the upside, and then a long, prolonged sideways, then getting the signal right here. And then again, the rest is history on this one. Obviously, that is just tremendously nasty upside moves. At the end of the day, this was a signal that produced, I guess, to the next major high. I won't even say the percentage. It's too large. It's too large, and it hurts my brain. The next one in 2016 we do see is right here, and again, same sort of thing. Big move to the upside off of the lows of the cycle. Coming into this signal, we did get the halving dump, which was a pretty significant dump. In fact, this one actually having a very similar percentage-wise drawdown to what we've seen thus far. This one actually a little bit closer to 40%, so perhaps a little bit more. But again, from there, it was just a slow sideways grind to the upside, and that's really what I'm kind of thinking that we're going to likely see for Bitcoin here again. And then what do you know, the one in 2020 coming after, again, that halving, which happened about a month or 2 before this official signal on the jewel, we do see similar things. Big move to the upside, followed by some sideways, and just, up and away. And again, this one producing probably a little bit more of a reasonable move, I suppose, but till the next major high, 600% move. These are big moves. Now, I don't think that we're going to get a 600% move here. I don't think that we're even going to get like a 200% move here, to be honest with you, but likely setting in a base here. Now, this signal, however, is not confirmed just yet. There's obviously a long time between now and Sunday, and again, if there is going to be any sort of major fake out, this would be the week for it. But just with the way that things are shaping up at this moment, I do think that it's rather unlikely. I do think that the upside is becoming significantly more likely as bears are just running out of time, in my opinion. Still, still, bulls have a lot of time to kind of chew up here between now and probably maybe late September. But, as you can see in the past, sideways is, while boring, is going to favor the bulls here. And this signal will be confirmed again on Sunday in just 3.5 long days, very long days. But yes, as of right now, very, very close to actually getting that. And this obviously would be another one that comes right after a halving too for Bitcoin. Anyways, moving on from there, I do want to go over the 5-day time frame. We are going to be seeing a 5-day closure at the end of today's daily closure in 16 hours, 28 minutes, and 10 seconds and counting. And as of right now, we can see that Bitcoin has clawed its way back in to the bottom end of the 38.2 level right here, which is officially at $60,000. I'd go as far to say that, hey, if you see Bitcoin close above $60,000 today, yes, I would be looking for Bitcoin to very likely follow through to the upside, probably off the back of tomorrow's event, and then just continue on with that sideways and an up grind here. It should also be known that, or should it be known that, actually, no, there's actually nothing else that I wanted to say about the oscillators right here. Other than that, really the focus, or at least where the action is happening, is in the rest of the markets, traditional markets, really, as well as the dollar index, so kind of 4x right here. But again, yesterday we were looking at very likely an extension sometime around, or at least before the end of this month, down to that green 55 exponential moving average right here for Dixie. We have officially gotten that as of right now. Pretty much to the T, about 10 cents lower actually, and now having a bit of a bounce, which is kind of expected. The real question is, does this bounce lead to a further breakdown? I suspect that if there is going to be a catalyst for a further breakdown, we'll get some indication of that tomorrow off of tomorrow's event at Jackson's Hole, and then probably, assuming that things kind of look the way that they're looking in September, when these rate cuts likely do occur, that's when you probably do actually get a breakdown from this region right here. Again, do keep in mind that the bi-monthly is actually in a pretty precarious place and very likely to print this phantom drive of bearish divergence. So I do believe that this can come down significantly further, significantly further, like, another, I don't know, how much percentage wise would this be? Another 3.5% move, which is big for especially Forex related things. Into the next, 6 months, maybe a year, something like that. Of course, on top of that, we also do see that traditional markets represented by SPY futures here, ES contracts. We can see that the weekly stochastic oscillator is about to pop back up to the upside. And I should add that this has been kind of a nice bottoming area for this oscillator for a while. Actually, we've seen a lot of major pivots around this region. Some more recent ones right here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's actually get that right. There we go. And let's see what these last few ones have actually produced in this vein, because it is about to turn up. And as you can see, these are your strong trending moves that typically get the next major higher low in a series of higher lows. And actually, now that I pull back a little bit further, we have even more right here and right here and even a few more before that, which we don't need to go through everything. But again, as you can see, it's just another higher low. That's why a couple of weeks ago, when this nonsense, when this action happened in early August, we said, hey, look, Monday, don't panic right now. Let's wait at least till the end of the week to see where this thing ends up, because it's a long week to go. And it was actually very clear by Tuesday of that week. In fact, I believe on that day, I said, hey, look, I'm buying my fucking stock skin. Just fucking do it, or not. I'm not telling you to do it, because obviously that would be a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you what I'm doing, and I fucking bought, and that's really all that it has to be. Just a kind of a general good rule for traditional markets if you are a long-term investor. And I'm talking specifically to the long-term investors here. And one of the reasons why I took that a few weeks ago is just, look, when things have a 10% move to the downside in traditional markets, and you're a long-term investor, many years in the market, you don't have to buy, but my rule is that I have to buy. Because 10% drawdowns in traditional markets, like they traditionally, things are going to be better. You're going to be in a better position than that within the next year, and at maximum like 2 to 3 years. So again, if you're a very, very long-term person, just something to kind of be aware of. So this one looking like it's poised maybe even for a retest of all-time highs, like into early next week, maybe on tomorrow's event. Who the fuck knows? But things looking better and better here as the up-only market continues in traditional markets, and Bitcoin looking to potentially follow relatively soon here. So again, big focus on tomorrow's event, of course, just because that is going to be a nice little catalyst. Markets do like to move on shit like that, and then I'd be looking for like actual fall through in the week after that, and realistically, fall through is going to look like sideways for Bitcoin most likely into the mid 60s. But again, for me, Bitcoin, or not necessarily for me, for Bitcoin, but the big area to be aware of on Bitcoin is still the 8th of August high, just a tick above there, and very likely, very likely that's going to be good enough to get this thing back up towards 67,000 bucks, or a daily closure above about 62,500. One of those two would do it for me. Even yesterday's move taking out the Tuesday's high is probably going to be good enough here. But of course, with a nice catalyst tomorrow, do want to err a little bit on the side of what's called caution here. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Again, nice and short and sweet one during these dog days of summer. We're almost out of it now. Very, very reminiscent of last summer and the summer before that and the summer before that and the summer before that as well. Just is what it is. Been here for a long time. You already fucking know. And with that said, I want to leave you with a nice positive message from this. This is actually not a crackhead today, and we'll just listen to him. He's a very nice guy.
I'm hoping y'all are having another really wonderful day.